I know many web designers and SEOs don't like lead generation. I mean, we get in this business because we like the work, the design, the marketing. I get it. I used to be that person. But I found, even in my own case, that a lot of that comes from fear. The fear of not knowing what to say, not wanting to be salesy, the fear of being turned down or just not even knowing what to do for the work. And I've heard a lot of people talk about the idea of just outsourcing or just hiring someone else completely to handle the lead generation process so that you could just focus on the work that you actually like and want to do. So having tried out different strategies throughout my years in doing this, I wanted to share with you my recommendations on hiring someone to help with lead generation when this actually makes sense, what you have to have in place, and what you can do even if you are relatively new to all of this. Now, I will say that if you are new in business, you should be the one handling lead generation. You should be the one who is speaking with prospective clients, and you should be the one who is figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Because only when you have done this do you actually have something that you could hand off to someone else to be able to handle that process for you. Otherwise, if you just send them out there with nothing, well, you're very likely not going to get great results with that. And if what I just said makes you uncomfortable, well, that's okay. The reason we are uncomfortable is when we haven't actually gone through this process before, or we just haven't really done it consistently. And the only way to become comfortable is to get uncomfortable and go out there and start doing it. And very quickly, you're going to stop feeling uncomfortable with it. But the longer you sit not doing it, well, you're not going to get the results for your business, but you'll just continue feeling uncomfortable. Now, I have done videos before to help you with this uncomfortableness, so I'll link to those down below. However, if you still do need help with this lead generation process, there is something that you can do and something that I actually recommend that you do even in earlier stages of your business. And this is to hire a lead generation virtual assistant. Now, to be perfectly clear, this virtual assistant is not going to be handling client calls for you, speaking directly with clients. They're there to make connections, bring in the leads to your business, and have you be able to just jump on the phone call and make the sale. So a lot of the lead generation process, while it can be tedious, there can be a lot of repetitive tasks. And in reality, these aren't necessarily the tasks that are always worth your time. I really like to focus on the revenue generating tasks, the tasks that are worth a lot of money to be able to do. And that really is actually speaking with the clients, speaking with the prospects who are coming in, and being able to land those deals. But it doesn't make as much sense for me to be sending out messages to people, being able to look up email addresses, contact people. See, that is really time consuming, and that doesn't require me to do. That is something I can easily have someone else do. So if you want to be able to scale your business, but you don't necessarily have the time to do that, to be able to bring in a lot of leads, then this is something that absolutely makes sense. For me, when I was transitioning between a full-time job and my business, I needed a way to be able to up the amount of clients that I had or the revenue that I had while I was still working full-time and had a life outside of that. So I had to let go of some of those low-level tasks in order to be able to spend all of my time on the high-level tasks that really focused on revenue, bringing in that income into the business. But even if you are not working that full-time job, just being able to remove yourself from part of the business to free up some of your time to make sure that you are focusing as the CEO of your business on the high-level tasks, well, this is a great way to be able to do that. So let's talk about what you need to have ready in order to hire a lead generation virtual assistant. It is very helpful to have a process for them to follow step by step to know exactly what you want them to do to go out and find leads. So this way you are telling them exactly what to say, the types of businesses that you want them to reach out to, what your offers actually are. That way they have an understanding of what your business is and who is going to be a best match for you. But you also want to know your numbers, because you want to be able to send them out to be able to make a certain number of contacts, knowing that that is going to get you a certain number of clients, and you want to make sure that they are focusing on those numbers in their work. So that way, when you are paying someone to find these leads for you, that you know it is going to easily pay for itself. So you need to know things like how many prospects do you need them to reach each week? How many phone calls do you need to have scheduled? And how many of those calls do you need to convert into paying clients? And if you don't know this because you haven't been doing it, that's okay. You start, and then that's going to tell you what your numbers are. So then as you hand this off to a virtual assistant, then you're going to say, okay, well, now I know you need to make 60 of those contacts because that means 20 people are going to respond, and we're going to get 10 of those on a call, and then we're going to be able to convert 2 of those, 5 of those, 7 of those. So you know exactly what your numbers are to produce the specific result that you want. So what should you actually look for when you go out to hire one of these lead generation virtual assistants? One thing that is important is considering their time zone, because you want them to be able to work in the time zones or near the time zone of the prospective clients that you want them to reach out to. Now, there are people who work on the other side of the world, but they will work during their night. So it doesn't always matter exactly where they're located. It's more important to know what hours they're going to be working. Now, you also want to consider, based on the lead generation process you're going to be giving them, is there a need for them to talk on the phone, or is everything going to be handled online? Because that will make a difference for who you actually work with. Now, one of the best things that you can do is to hire someone, even actually hire multiple people at the same time, and have them do a small test assignment, give them some instructions, have them go out and do it, see how long it takes them, see what kind of responses they get, how they communicate with you, and that'll really help you see who you should actually hire in this process. So always make sure that you do a little test before you just give them the free rein to go out and contact everyone. Now, as they start to do work for you, you can always use software like Yesware or Close.io, and this is going to help you include templates of what you want them to use and just customize as they reach out to people, and a process for being able to find email addresses of the different business owners. So that way you can also see how many people they've been contacting, you can see how many people are responding, how many people are booking calls with you. So this will be a very easy way for them and you to see the numbers and understand how well this is actually working. Now, your tasks or processes that you give them will probably change over time. They will adapt and things just change. So this is always a good idea to make sure that the lead generation virtual assistant is responsible for keeping your process up to date. So in the event of any changes, they're responsible for updating the documentation. That way, if one day they just stop working for you or they let you know they can no longer work, well, you already have the updated documentation that you can now just take and hand off to the next person. So again, we always want to look for how we can get the team involved in some of those low-level tasks that, while are very important, they are not the tasks that help generate your business revenue. So if you are looking for where you can go to get an inexpensive lead generation virtual assistant, I put my recommendation down below in the description so you can check that out. Let me know your thoughts about hiring a lead generation virtual assistant for your business down in the comments below. Any questions, I'll be there to answer them as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.